AfterBuzz, gonna talk your favorite show.
Friendly hosts everywhere, humble talks without flirtation.
Going on down to AfterBuzz, gonna see my favorite host.
Ample thoughts day or night, people shouting but never fighting.
Heading on up to AfterBuzz, gonna hope we don't rambo.
We like those with big fat titties, man, I hope this show ain't shitty.
Come on down to AfterBuzz and meet some hosts of mine.
Cereal!
Get
Cereal! Cereal! Let me hear your cereal talk. Your cereal talk.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you have no clue why we're about to get cereal, then you clearly didn't watch tonight's South Park episode, which is called Time to Get Cereal.
You're not being serial at all if you don't know why we are so serial this week.
And that is the serial voice of Christian Blatt.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at Serial. Not true. Not true at all, but it would be
Serial.
fun if you
The
could.
not so serial Steph Sabra.
Yep. I am cereal today, though.
Okay, very good. I'm extra serial today. My name is Phil Svitek. We are talking about the episode with Al Gore. He makes his return, and so does ManBearPig. We've got lots to discuss today, and in fact, we're going to be talking about all the previous Al Gore episodes in our special segment, thanks to the serial Steph Sabra today. But before we do any of that, I want to hear your overall impressions for this episode.
My first impression is just wondering if Anthony in the booth could possibly make more noise on the headset while we're in here. But other than that, so excited.
It wouldn't be in a South Park after show
That's true.
if it wasn't a shit show.
That's true.
Mayhem!
So excited, and I'm being 100% serial about this, that one, we did indeed get the return of Al Gore. And then in the number 2 slot, the return of Satan. We were all so excited when we saw him. Yep,
Fantastic.
that's right. Hail Satan. That's what we're saying. Yeah, Satan. Yeah. And honestly, I was just so glad to see Ned. I hope that he was just injured because Ned was such an important part in the earliest episodes of South Park. And, you know, not that you never see him. It's so rare that you see Ned. So already this had the makings of a great episode. And I don't know. Could it be my favorite one of the season? Maybe.
All right, Steph Sabra.
I love this episode. I love Satan. Yes, I really do love Satan.
Well, we know you hate America.
Satan and Al Gore together in an episode. Yes, it was such a classic South Park episode. We got the message at the end. What did we learn today? There's a lot of callbacks to earlier seasons, so I loved it, and it was just funny, and it was gory, pun intended. Loved it.
This is the perfect episode where it's a standalone and yet it's able to tie into past episodes. The fact that we still have Tegrity Farms going.
I hope he wears the shirt the rest of the season. I love that.
100% hemp. Love it. And the fact of school shootings, that they're still able to use that plot device in a unique way over so many episodes is just fantastic. So I figured we kind of open up there because this aftermath of school shootings have now just been so normalized that it's just routine for cops. And I love his stance on it of like, hey, let's get this over with because I have real crime to fight, you little jerks.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And just the idea that, like, I'm just going to round up the loners because they're the ones who always do it. And it's very smartly done because there's a couple of lines that are like, outside the school is the one place kids are supposed to be safe. It was like, oh, yeah, there's a school shooting in the woods. So that was the point. And they kind of do a callback to that later in the episode. So the idea that, you know, everywhere except school is where kids are safe, I thought was just really funny, but also sad, but funny because it's so true.
Yeah, very. Steph,
And I'm being serial, just in case you didn't know.
so serial. I mean, it is an interesting point that they did raise because most like inner city kids with after school programs and things like that, you keep them in school to keep them safe.
Yeah.
So school
not
was
anymore.
supposed to be the only safe place.
You just let them out into Hell's Kitchen and they'll learn a trade like playing dice or selling drugs. It's better than being at school.
Well, a couple seasons ago, Safe Space told us that there's no safe space. So
It's true.
why did we listen? We were wrong. Steph, what did you think of the school shootings coming back?
I loved it. I love how we have
Love
Integrity
school
Farms.
shootings?
Yeah.
I
She
hate
loves
school
Satan?
shootings, but I think that they do a really good job of showing kind of society's reaction to
Obsession.
school shoot. Yeah, their obsession and then their lack of proper reaction to school shootings and the blame game and the wrong solutions, and then it keeps continuing and then it becomes nothing. And then I love the tie-in with Integrity Farms continuing to have that.
Yeah, there was, and quickly, and I'm being cereal, like actual cereal. I heard someone say, people don't need your thoughts and prayers when it comes to this. They need action and care.
Right.
Preach.
So when it comes to school shootings, on a very serial note, do that. Don't send them your thoughts and prayers. Nobody needs that. Like, it's great, but you're not really doing shit. So,
Totally.
speaking of actually doing something, there's this. So the whole idea of all this routine, everyone is obsessed with Red Dead Redemption 2. What
was-
a tongue twister.
It was so funny how many times that came up in the game. You know, Al Gore was playing, Satan was playing, and I admit that I'm not like a present day video game person, but I hear about this. I hear one of the guys in the Howard Stern show is playing it, so I actually know a lot about it because they make fun of him for being a bad cowboy. And just hearing like just all the references, like I'm like, I don't play the game, but they pick the funniest names of towns. Like, well, I have to go rob a stagecoach, and I can't remember the name of the town, but they were so funny, and you could just tell someone in that office is clearly playing that game all the time. So they were like, oh yeah, let me give you everything. So I thought that was very, very topical and just very funny callback that literally everyone's playing this game, and the cop wants to get away from police work so that he can go to, you know, be a pretend cowboy.
I haven't even heard of the game, but Ogredius in the chat said it's also kind of a response to Red Dead Redemption referencing ManBearPig in their game.
What?
Dude, bro, explain yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
come on,
elaborate?
Overdose.
Whoever's, which by the way is a nice segue into whether you're participating in the live chat, you're listening to us on demand, or watching us on demand, your participation is equal. Leave us comments, and especially when it comes to this, listen, I'll say I'm sorry if you're right,
Yeah.
but I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, bro. I've played when the sheriff says basically that he had to restart the game, and it took him like basically whatever he says, like 12 hours just to get to a certain point. That's how I felt. I wanted to play. I got this video game. I played a little bit. I probably played for an hour and got to do maybe one gallop on a horse because there's so much cinematography as far as setup and storyline. I'm like, when the hell do I actually play?
Well, it's actually called the cutscenes, the cinematic cutscenes in a video game.
Thanks, Tony.
That are very long and extraneous because it's a very narrative-based video game.
Yeah, but it's like you have to like
You're
spend
certainly
time.
not long-winded, Tony.
You have to spend time like petting your horse, otherwise it's gonna get sick, and you have to like pick flowers so that you don't get, you know, an illness, and it sounds not fun. Like you're gonna play for 30 hours and you still don't get to rob a stagecoach. You know, you gotta be like 100 hours in to get that.
It is here's the thing. The crazy part is it's very addicting. Now, I just don't have the time to play it. But I do, again, I love the obsession. Now, I'm very curious as to, in the South Park office, who the hell has time to play all this stuff when they're churning out episodes?
They write the show in one night, so you know you have the other 6 days. You just don't sleep, and you have plenty of time to play it.
So everyone else just does what they do?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
It's probably like a writer's assistant or something. Somebody, you know, who's got to be waiting around for scripts to come in or whatever. So you might as well play a video game.
Fair enough. Because what I love is the almost like walkthrough tips.
Yeah.
All throughout. Anyway, any updates, Steph?
No updates yet.
About ManBearPig
Theory didn't hold
being
up,
in-
did it?
Yeah, we need to know. I do love the part where he's like, now I got to start over, and he goes to put on his coat. He's like, I'm going to start a new life now, and then just goes back to sit down and play it.
It was an interesting kind of commentary on married life. And just obsessions and things like that. I don't know, Christian. You're the only one who's married.
It's
What
true.
do you have to say about marriage?
Although I don't play video games, but I do understand. If you go into the if you go into the Netflix and it's like, wait a minute, I didn't watch this. Who watched this without me? Oh, it's not either of the kids. So, I mean, I think it's actually very funny that he's so upset that all his wife wants is for him to, go into the pretend world and do it together. And he's like, no, there's no time for that. So, yeah, I think it's very hard to find time with your spouse. It's very hard to find time with your video games. And, some people can juggle it. But not me. I had to give up video games. So I'll be all right. Don't worry about me.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm saddened for you.
Well, I still masturbate profusely, so that's fine.
All right. So, moving on. There's no easy transition there.
Sure there is. Hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now. Right now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on the air. But for now, thank you for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk, and we are so serial about that.
Yep.
Your subscriptions matter just like your votes matter. Speaking of which, election night was yesterday. And so usually we get an election episode, but this time we don't, but we do get Al Gore.
Very political.
I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. We did get some callbacks to that election.
We did. I mean, to be honest, I haven't thought of Al Gore since probably 2000.
He's bowling.
Yeah.
Bowling for Columbine?
Since his Academy Award, he's taken up bowling because no one believed him on global warming, which is why the ManBearPig is out.
Yeah, well, no one believes him on ManBearPig, and it finally came back to haunt them. And, this is what Al Gore probably sits at home thinking. He's like, one day they're going to come find me because I tried to warn them. And, I think the Al Gore, the South Park Al Gore is such a great character that I think if he ran for president, the South Park Al Gore, I think he would win in a landslide.
Interesting. The movie... The sequel, was that this year that he did? 'Cause he did
the slightly less inconvenient truther or something. I think that might have been 2 years ago that came out.
2 years ago?
Pretty sure.
I am looking
You are
up right 2017.
Okay, so
Well,
1 year
it's
ago.
almost 2019, so I'm not that far.
Yeah.
All right, well, I
No,
just
it's all right.
couldn't. I couldn't have been. 2 years for me would have been like, whoa, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's the official title of that?
An inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power.
Okay, I did not see either, so I can't really
I
speak.
saw the first one. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Was it inconvenient?
It was inconvenient to have to sit there and watch it, but it was. Look, it's great. It's great if you like fantasy movies. It was a lot of fun.
My God.
I literally only said that to make Steph mad. No, it's actually very interesting. It's well done. You'd think it would be boring, but it's actually well done. He should have made that movie when he was running for president and just shown that, and maybe people would have voted for him. But anyway. Yeah.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, So anyway, we get him, and ManBearPig returns, and unlike in the past, we'll talk about it in a special segment, but I can't remember ManBearPig really kind of exemplifying the climate change as a full symbol. Today, ManBearPig really was the symbol for climate change.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
think,
it was a little bit more subtle the last time. But sorry,
yeah, I agree. I think it was pretty obvious this time, and it was really an interesting tie with Satan. I feel like it pulled it all together, and him having the kids being like, finally come to the sense that everything Al Gore says is right, at least in this sense.
Explain what you mean by the tie-in with Satan.
Well, Satan being, even when all the kids were saying stuff and Satan is Satan, he didn't really care. But as soon as Al Gore said something, Satan was like, no, he's right.
Okay, gotcha. My favorite was the couple at, what was it, the Red Lobster?
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Where they're arguing and the husband is just being so pompous and saying, like, listen, just because everyone's now an expert on ManBearPig, and just because like science and whatever says that he exists, ManBearPig doesn't exist. But then I love the doubling down Okay, so ManBearPig exists. What are we gonna do about it? What does that change?
We can't do anything to change it. Nobody else is going to do anything. China isn't going to do anything to stop ManBearPig. So, yeah, even though it was a little bit more on the nose, it was really funny and, of course, very smart. And, of course, that guy got eaten by ManBearPig.
As he should have.
Yeah, as he should have.
I do appreciate how they all tied it in, and then it's all what makes this episode wonderful is that it's all so interwoven. The school shootings, ManBearPig, Al Gore, and the idea that they did bring in, of course, Satan. Yeah. Which when was the last time we saw Satan?
Let me see if
That's
I can.
That's a good trivia
that.
question for anyone out there.
If you're watching in the chat, let us know. But Steph is hard at work on this.
I think it was freemium.
Freemium, Jesus.
Has it really been that long? Freemium isn't free. Yeah.
Wow.
Season 18, episode 6.
Dang.
Satan,
we missed you.
Yeah, welcome back.
Listen, it's truly hell on earth, so might as well have made an appearance. Okay, well, one of the nice things that in Bring Back Satan and Bring Back Al Gore, one of the things I did appreciate about this episode is that they brought back a lot of, I don't want to call them cliches, but tropes of South Park, yet still managed to subvert our expectations of all of it. Did you guys feel the same?
I mean, I think that there were a lot of callbacks that were pretty apparent, and I mean, I don't know if what specific tropes are you thinking of? Like, what stood out to you?
Even getting the lesson right at the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's a perfect example. Yeah, I did like that. That definitely was a trope from the early seasons. Yeah, that was fun.
And this wasn't necessarily a trope, but how we got a library PSA.
Oh yes, I was gonna say that.
But that was actually pretty. Your local library is an excellent resource from which to learn.
And then Al Gore goes, "You're absolutely right." And they end up doing their research there and finding out more about
him. I love that Satan had reading glasses. That was
his voice changed. Yeah. He became a man's fit for the library.
He was like a very studious Satan. Yeah, he was like, "All right, let's get down to business here."
Absolutely, you got to study ManBearPig.
Yeah.
The biggest question I have for both of you is this a one-off or is this a two-parter? Because we leave on a cliffhanger, although South Park's known to do that and never return.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the member berries, by the way. The like 40s Nazi member berries that we were supposed to get that story. I think this is a two-parter, just sort of the way they set up. Oh, no, Billy, what have I done? So clearly, Grandpa made a deal with ManBearPig, and I feel like we will get that next week.
Steph, your favorite episode from years ago was the old folks farting. Is there, like, did he make... What do you think the deal that he made was? Like, they all stopped farting, or what?
Oh, my gosh, that would be amazing. Oh, my... The fart sounds, you guys are really good at this, and that is creepy. Maybe, I'm not sure, but it seemed more individually based.
Parts, by the way.
Yeah, with the grandpa.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I think it was just with a deal made with the grandpa. I'm not sure exactly why. It could have been because of the woman running the place, the old the farty woman running. I'm not sure, but it is Red Redemption 2, right?
Red Dead
Redemption 2. So I'm hoping that means that there would be a sequel. Like that's a little, if they're queuing in that, I don't know. I'm hoping.
No, I don't know that even ties in, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if this doesn't continue next week. You know, it's definitely a lot of epic setup because of some of these callbacks, and I think I'd be surprised if we're sitting here next week talking about something other than the continuation of this story.
I just really want to see the sheriff continue on and just be frustrated that he can't play the video game.
Watch his wife play again. Uh-oh, that's gonna be trouble.
And it did seem like one of those episodes where it wasn't okay storyline. It's actually a really great storyline. I think better than we've seen in a lot of episodes. So I really want there to be a sequel. I think there's a lot more to dive into.
Well, let me ask you this. So for the benefit of everyone, let's dive in assuming this is it.
Okay.
What does this ending mean? because I'm still trying. We were getting a lesson that ManBearPig exists. We didn't listen to Al Gore. Basically, hell on earth exists.
And these demons thrive on making deals. That's the whole point. And that's Grandpa saying, like, oh no, what have I done, Billy? Yeah, I mean, I think
Does this relate to Trump?
Yeah, I think so. I think that that's kind of the tie into the election is like you kind of make deals with yourself to like, well, I'm going to look the other way on these things, or I'm going to vote for this person who doesn't have any, this person who doesn't really bring anything. This person I'm not excited about, but I have to vote for because there's a D next to their name, Gavin Newsom, and it's just somebody that, you know, you just is there, and you're like, well, everybody says you got to vote for him, so I guess you're going to vote for him. And I think that it, you know, that's getting sort of very specific, obviously, but I think that's what they're referencing is, you know, last night, election night, I think a lot of people, just when they vote, you sort of hold your nose and you go like, well, is it the giant douche or the turd sandwich? So, you know, I think that might be what it was.
Fair enough.
I'm looking at the episodes he was in to try to get some.
They're not gonna.
I know. Well, he was in the end of serialization as we know it. I don't remember. I'm just reaching with
Who's
names.
that? Is that Grandpa?
Yeah, with
Marvin?
Grandpa.
Yeah.
And then the last one was the Hummels and Heroin, but he did become top bitch. So it's not like he was wanting to make a deal to become that.
Well, we don't know. Maybe he wanted more Hummels.
I need to know.
We need to know. We need to know now. I was going somewhere and then I lost it.
Tails P said, I bet the next episode will be about sequel baiting.
Oh, I think that's interesting. And that could be to Steph's point about Red Dead Redemption 2 and how people are so excited about sequels.
Are they?
I mean, I am.
Me too.
Can't wait for Avengers 4. I just hope Avengers 5 doesn't take too long to come
Avatar
out.
2.
Okay, now you're
3,
being
4,
crazy.
5.
Now you're being crazy with Avatar 2.
Oh my goodness. Why don't we just have a Jar Jar one?
Oh my god. Misa people gonna die.
You know, Misa
gave me
into
the-
this.
Misa love
All
me some
right.
Sabra. Okay.
Well, I have no clue what I was going to talk about. It was some. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about favorite kind of quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Because somewhere along those lines, definitely the. I'll let you cue it up.
Yeah.
Oh, our favorite one was, you boys better get to the grocery store because it's time to get cereal. That was, I would say collectively, that might be our
Yeah.
favorite line. And I mentioned a few of them already, which was the, you know, kids are supposed to be, outside of school is the one place kids are supposed to be safe. Those were kind of the big ones there. Local library was a nice quote.
One of my favorites was Cartman when he's being accused. He says, "Hey, I'm not poor."
The fat mean kid and the poor.
Yeah. I'm not poor.
So clearly still hasn't accepted poor Cartman there. You know, he's big boned. But what are you going to do? All right. Well, Steph, do you have any favorite quotes or do we take them all?
Those, you took them all. Those
All
were
right.
it.
All right.
Other
Well,
than, the local library. That's.
fair enough. Well, you're so smart and funny. We have to just
my
kind of
God,
grab
so
onto
smart.
anything that we
I
can.
know.
If you guys could have seen the giant bottle of smart water that Steph had before the show, you'd understand why she's so smart.
It's like I have an IV of that just running through me at all times.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of running, ManBearPig is running amok. And with that, we have our special segment where we talk about all the previous episodes featuring Al Gore. So, Steph, kick us off down memory lane.
Okay. For starters, the Red Badge of Gayness, Season 3, Episode 14. In this episode, the boys participate in the South Park Civil War reenactment. To win a bet, Cartman convinces the reenactors to try and alter history and leads them throughout the southern United States. The episode's name is a reference to the war novel, The Red Badge of Courage, and parodies Ken Burns' documentary miniseries, The Civil War, and the 1993 film Gettysburg. Al Gore appears next to President Clinton.
That wasn't much of an episode for our Al Gore, but he is there.
Yeah, so we actually see the animated Al Gore. And I miss animated Bill Clinton as a character too. That was always fun.
Definitely.
One of my favorite was in order to keep fighting the civil quote unquote war, Cartman kept feeding him alcohol
Oh yeah.
to Tony, what's the? I can't read the alcohol name from
Is
here.
it s'more schnapps?
Yes,
it's
more
more
snaps.
snaps.
Yeah.
Love it.
This is a great episode.
Yeah, and like the Ken Burns callbacks with the letters home. One of the pictures highlighted that's "Dearest Martha, it is 4 weeks behind the enemy lines. 'Tis diphtheria that has taken my men." Whatever. So yeah, that it right there. That's like the she's reading the letter. Yeah, that's great.
All right, so next episode. So that one really wasn't much of an Al Gore episode,
No.
but next one we start to
Yes.
get
Is
The ManBearPig, season 10, episode 6. In this episode, Al Gore visits South Park to warn everyone about a creature called ManBearPig. On a trip to the Cave of the Winds, Gore ends up getting Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny trapped inside the caves. So this was when he really was going down to the mythology of it. And
Yeah.
no one believed him.
no one believed him about ManBearPig.
I feel like they've tackled climate change a lot, just in different forms. Remember, like, we didn't listen. We didn't listen.
I love that. That was last season, right?
No, that was like seasons.
Oh, we
like,
covered it in one of our favorite
Oh, it might be the one that
episodes,
we watched recently. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. So,
Next up,
what do we got?
Imagination Land, episode 3. This is a fan favorite. Season 11, episode 12. Our imaginations run wild and Butters is the chosen one. Meanwhile, Cartman tries to prove leprechauns are real to win a bet against Kyle, where if Kyle loses, he has to suck on Cartman's balls. Such a funny premise. Oh my god, I love this episode.
I love the fact that Al Gore and Cartman had similar goals.
Yeah.
Because ManBearPig was real because Al Gore believed in him. And then the whole notion was predicated that if leprechauns exist, then they're real. So if Al Gore imagined ManBearPig, then he's real. Sounds
Yeah.
very esoteric, but amazing.
Great episode. Oh, love this. Love the cape. Next one is 200, cameo in season 14, episode 5, and 201, cameo in season 14, episode 6. So in the episode, Tom Cruise and all other celebrities who have been mocked by residents of South Park in the past plan to file a class action lawsuit against the town, but Cruise promises to end the lawsuit if the town can get the Muslim prophet Muhammad to meet him. The episode continued multiple storylines from previous episode 200, in which a group of angry celebrities demand South Park produce a Muslim prophet Muhammad. In 201, a superhero-like group of religious figures team up to save South Park from the celebrities and their monster Mecha Streisand. I love that. While Eric Cartman learns the true identity of his father. Oh, these
There
are
was so much in there. Yeah.
It was 2 episodes. I forgot that was broken down like that.
Yeah, it was a great way to bring everything together. Just even hearing it read, like if you weren't a South Park fan, you'd be like, "What is this?"
I
Yeah,
need to
so
watch.
many crazy things that were all crammed into that episode.
Mecha Streisand. One of my favorite creatures they've created.
We did have a episode of our favorite sort of monsters.
Yeah.
And she was
Definitely.
someone's. Let's just say. Any others? Or is that it?
That's it.
That's it for Al Gore. So,
We have the official Al Gore bio from South Park.
oh yes, this is very funny.
Let's hear
please,
this.
please
Okay.
read this.
The former vice president of the United States from 1993 to 2001, Al Gore has largely faded into obscurity since his presidential loss to George W. Bush. In a bid to stay politically relevant, the former Democrat has dedicated his life to warning people about the greatest threat to the human race, ManBearPig, spreading awareness, giving presentations and speeches, studying the enemy, and of course, doing whatever it might possibly take to kill him, even if meddling kids get in the way. The only reason anyone pretends to take Gore seriously is they don't think he has any friends.
That's the official bio on South Park.
Do you think he's read that?
The real
No.
Al Gore? I don't think he cares.
No.
Do you think he pays attention to the episode season?
No.
No.
What? How could...
I think if you work for him, you secretly watch them and laugh hysterically. I interned for his office when I was in college, and I did actually meet him. Yeah, because my aunt worked for
A
him.
young Christian.
Yeah, and he did not warn me about ManBearPig back in 1997. So, think of what we could have done if only he had told me about it 20 years ago.
You're so right.
But what was he like? Like on a serial level.
I mean, he's a politician. He was nice enough to speak to the interns for like an hour. We had questions, and I had a question about doing TV interviews because that's really all I cared about. And he was very nice, and I told him the name of my aunt who worked for him, and he was like, "Is that right? I'm a big fan of your aunt." And he shook my hand, and I was like, "Well, look at that! I met Al Gore," and he was so serial the whole time. But no, seriously, it was. It was nice that he did it, but it's not like it was fascinating, I mean, just if it was Clinton, there probably would have been beer pong, and there would have been some dancing girls and stuff. But
especially with the interns.
Yeah, well, exactly. By the way, I know that we've already gotten past the newest episode, but one thing that we really liked when we were watching it that we forgot to call out was the callback when Al Gore sits at the computer, the way that he slouches down.
Oh, yeah.
Like So,
Like our what was the other game? Shit.
Was that with the World of Warcraft guys?
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
That's it. Make Love Not Warcraft episode.
God, they were so
Yeah, so it was so
disgusting.
funny that he sat like that. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then of
I
course
wish it
he's
was
like,
a longer cut. It was very short.
Yeah, right, exactly.
and then of course he realizes that perhaps he should use all 3 screens to play Red Dead Redemption 2.
2, yeah.
What a tongue twister! Speaking of tongue twisters, let's get into some predictions, shall we?
Tony?
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
My prediction is I think we've been trolled, and I really don't think this is going to be another sequel. I want one, but I don't think we're going to get one necessarily.
I really think we will. I know I said that already earlier. But also, because it's South Park, if they don't, I'm not really going to be that upset. But I would like to see where this goes. I'd like to see what Marvin...
If they do a
had done.
Terrence and Phillip episode.
Oh, my God.
Then you're all in.
If they do Terrence and Phillip episodes for the rest of the season, I'll be so happy.
Wow, I'd be so happy. I hope that it is going to be a sequel episode and that we're still going to get the tie-in with the school shootings, Tegrity Farms, and then continue the storyline. And I think that we haven't seen the Stan's grandpa, right? In a long time. So I would love for that to happen. Do I know what the curse is? No, but I think it's going to be hilarious and the most random thing ever, probably gross too.
Yeah. Here's what I could see. The kids being in jail and then just doing another storyline and just kind of referencing that the kids are in jail.
That they ended up in jail. That could be interesting. Yeah.
I would love to see them in jail.
Because I think like we're getting some of those elements where we progress things, but we don't really talk about them. Like, Stan just lives on a farm. Don't need to talk about it. He just does. School shootings, they still continue. Just the thing.
Yeah.
PC babies, they're still locked away in the closet because why parent them?
I do hope we see the PC babies again before the end of the season.
Oh my gosh,
I'll miss them in the
yes.
long off season.
I
So.
love them. Tails P in the chat says, I predict Jesus will show up.
I hope so. Yeah, I've said many times, it's been too long since we've seen Jesus.
Oliver
Jesus
Ratto-
hasn't been on Earth in forever.
Yeah.
It's hell on Earth, bro. Sorry.
It is. Oliver Ratto says, need another Saddam Hussein episode.
Relax, guy. Oh, Saddam's dead, right? I mean, like, real Saddam's dead. So
Yeah.
have we? No, we have had Saddam since real Saddam died. So
Well, we killed Saddam.
Yeah.
It was Satan.
Yeah.
Or was that Osama? No, we killed Osama.
yeah,
Then listen, we just need more like other people.
We need PC babies, I think, collectively.
They just cry for no reason. Speaking
well,
of
one
which-
day, Steph, you'll have the most PC babies of them all.
Ever.
So don't worry about
They
it.
will be like those creatures in Harry Potter that you pull out and they're just like,
Oh dear God.
Tony, can you isolate that sound that you just made so that we can play it on next week's show? Thanks.
Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you've made it this far. If you have, God bless you. On behalf of all of us at Christian DMZ,
That's me, yeah, Christian DMZ, and let me plug just one of my other shows, Marvel TV Weekly, Sunday nights at 10. Come check us out. We have fun over there.
yeah, you guys have a great panel.
at Steph Sabra,
Yeah, I'm Steph Sabra. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabra.
And I'm at Phil Svitek. And hey, if you like what I'm doing, I did Shameless, Shameless and South Park, both begin with S's.
And BoJack, right?
I did BoJack, the latest season. That's, Comedy Central, adult Netflix. Such a weird time we live in. What a day and age. Anyway, and if nothing else, just keep coming back to us for South Park. That's why you're here. That's why we need you here. We'll see you next time.
We're so serial.
So serial.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.